1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now from distance, here's a chance, St. George. Good. Sweet. Well, a very good evening and a warm welcome here to Penshurst Park for round 22 action of the NPL Men's Premier League in New South Wales. St George City FA playing host to Mount Druitt Town Rangers. And some reasonable form coming into this one from St George, a 2-0 win last week against Manly. A couple of weeks ago as well, victorious over Spirit 3-2 and a draw back at the end of May. So very much a 50-50 procedure here for St George City FA. 2 wins, 2 losses and the 1 draw. For Mount Druitt, of course, their struggles have been well documented in 2025. But can they steer the ship back on course late in the season and try and stave off relegation? Great to have your company here this evening. James Preston with you. We'll take a look at how the two sides line up. It's Kenny in goals for St George. SJ Monaghan Vaika is the captain, of course. Lewis Michio, Dominic Cox, Mark McNulty in the 9, Paolo Mitri in the 10, Nathan Grimaldi in the 15. Those two scored some cracking goals for St George last week, including a goal of the season contender from Paolo Mitri. Goncalo Agrelos, Jesse Votti, Dakota Askew and Lewis Curry round out the St George side. For Mount Druitt, they line up with Dylan Iski in goals, Danilo Doce Montero, a new recruit to the club. We'll back up here for the second week in a row. Tep Tep in the 5. The 6 is Jared Mastarola. In the 10, it's Yuto Moriarta. The 12 is Rocco Pele. 14, Abraham Majok. 22 is Jude Raymond Jankin. 27, Shaden Sampow. 29 is Yuta Kimura. And in 99, Bilal Belkardi. Now, need to start well here. Of course, St George have proven multiple times throughout this season that they can strike and strike quickly. The game can be over in a flash, and that was realistically the case last week against Manly. 2 goals inside the first 15 minutes. And it was always hard to pull it back from there. So Majok, of course, will be up front here for Mount Druitt Town Rangers. Conditions here are beautiful as well in St George. Around about 14 degrees. Very clear. There's not a single bit of dew on the surface either, so looking outstanding overall. It will be Mount Druitt Town Rangers to get first use of possession. So Belkardi and Majok up front here, looking for that 1-2 punch. Curry will be working tirelessly, as always, in the 33 for St George. We can't wait for this one to get underway. And the ball is rolling here for round 22 action of the NPL Men's Premier League in New South Wales from Penshurst Park. St George playing host here to Mount Druitt. And first attempt has gone well wide of the mark and into touch straight away. So worked on here from St George City. Now skipping past a few feeble attempts at defending. Swinging cross, great control inside the box. Worked all the way back here towards Michio, who then swings it once again, but the flag is raised. It's a promising start here from the home side. Niski now looking to clear his lines. Nice long driving kick upfield. Get there with the head from St George. It'll be collected here from Agrelos, who simply turns it back. Michio. Deeper still, eventually finding Grimaldi, who then switches the emphasis. Runners moving freely out on that right-hand side. Beautifully weighted ball. Now back to the middle for McNulty, trying to twist and turn away from a couple of defenders. Ooh, legs everywhere. And a call for a penalty, but turned away from referee Naji. Now Mount Druitt looking to march upfield. Majok. Nice skill there to try and just squeeze a pass for a man pushing through late in the piece. Turned away from St George City FA. Finally, Mount Druitt out of their own half here, but it's been a blitzkrieg start of sorts here for the home side. Mount Druitt again under pressure here, so they're all stepping up with a high line at the moment. Majock now trying to bring it down. Bouncing off the body and into touch it goes. So throw in coming up here for St George. 2 minutes gone so far. A long throw here from the home team, and now they'll start to utilise a bit of speed. Wider still it comes here for Agrelos. Agrelos just slowing things momentarily. We'll link up again now with the work of Michio. Kuri. Grimaldi. Sending it back to the middle, then a lovely switch of emphasis there. It's going to be a tough one to reel in, though. That one goes over the sideline, so nothing Michio could do about that. Kuri does well. Gets in front of that attempted throw-in. Oh, now taken down there from Monaghan Vaika. Eventually knocked upfield. And a good use of the body here from Mount Druitt, who will come away with possession momentarily. Cleaned up now from the work of Dominic Cox. And Cox couldn't find a supporting player. So Sam Powell now will have the throw-in. Again, sending that one deep. I go all the way back here to the feet of Jack Kenny. Calm under pressure and then looking towards the sideline. That one as well won't find the mark. So Mount Druitt just beginning to warm into the contest. It's taken a few minutes. It's now Rocco Pele has the throw here. Finds Majock and then Pele trying to drive it into the box, turned away. Monaghan Vaika upfield. Good control and then just steering into touch there from McNulty, the two-time Scottish international. Now Tep. Working all the way back here to Dylan Niski, who will then send it out to this left-hand side. And they have been guilty in the opening 4.5 minutes here, Mount Druitt, of some loose passes that have gone into touch. That one was played at, though, from St George, so throw in to come. And a long one for that matter as well. Looking for Belcaddy. Now brought down here from Jankin. Jankin can't get the shot away, though. St George clearing the lines. Mid-air contest, play on the call for now from Nagy. There's Mitri, who is playing a little bit of pressure in the back there. Another question waved away from our man in the middle. Now a long driving pass upfield. Intercepted from Tep with the head, and then Majock off the back of the head there. Well, great pressure now from Belcaddy. And now some fancy footwork from Kimura. And then Kimura is felled. And there's a free kick here for Mount Druitt. Promising start from both teams here. Of course, coming into this one, Mount Druitt well and truly affixed to the foot of the ladder. Just 12 points for the season, just the 3 victories for that matter. A win here, in theory, could push them as high as 14th, and that would obviously stave off the threat of relegation. Fed in now, looking for Tep. Just got a glancing head to it. Agrelos. Michio under pressure. That one will hit the corner flag and then go all the way over the byline. Goal kick to come. St George, on the other hand, 7 wins so far this season. 4 draws and 10 losses. Currently sitting in 11th coming into this one. Crosstown rivals St George FC. Pretty similar results for the season. Just 2 points above then, up in 8th position. So Mount Druitt now working here with Tep. Chipping over the top into open space. Nobody really there waiting for it. However, great job completed here from Rocco Pele to keep it in momentarily. Forcing a contest there from Michio. Now Majock takes it down and threatens to execute a little bit of speed. Turned away now. Belcarty back towards the middle. Chance for a shot here for Mount Druitt. Over the top, though. That one was bouncing around, always tough to control. And in the end, no issues for Kenny. Grimaldi. Now, oodles of space out on this left-hand side of the field. That's the way they'll come here. Michio waiting for it. Now threading the needle. Looking for a run for Agrelos. And Agrelos just applying the pressure. Shepherded into touch there from Rocco Pele over the byline. Goal kick to come. So both teams just settling into their groove a touch here after a pretty frantic opening 5 or 6 minutes. Drilled upfield from Niski. Majok doesn't end up with it. There will be a handball there called against Grimaldi. It's another free kick in a decent position here from Mount Druitt. Chance to apply a little bit of early pressure here in Penshurst. And throwing the numbers forward as well. So it'll be Shaden Sampow. Try and feed this one in. Wide delivery. Tep getting above, sends it back to the middle. Tempted clearance from St. George, hits a teammate. As a result, this one is still alive. Once more, they'll try and thread it through. Falls here for Massarola. Sends it out wide. Majok using the chest to try and control it. Now Massarola once again. Lovely feed this time. Whipped away with the head, though. And then the attempted round the corner kick has gone well and truly wide of the mark. So while St. George have looked very strong pushing into enemy territory, how many shots thus far have come from Mount Druitt? Neither of them on target, so no test as of yet for Kenny. But better signs here for the cellar dwellers. As City now send it forward. Majok trying to control it with the foot. Taken down there from Kuri, then Agrelos. All the way back for Michio. Grimaldi. Now for Monahan Vaika. Quick release provided there from Cox, and McNulty also looking for an entrance into proceedings. And there's more pressure here from Mount Druitt. Will result in a free kick, not taken on the mark. It's hard to get too many clues from this one inside the first 10 minutes of action here. Michio is a target out on this left-hand edge. Instead, it'll be Monahan Vaika looking for McNulty. Flicks it on with the head. Grelos contesting for it. Finds a pass here for Michio. Chance to whip it in now. Delivery scuppered. Then McNulty getting ahead to it. Not quite on target. Easily dealt with there from Dylan Niski. And now he puts boot to ball quickly. A giant clearing kick. Pressure then coming in from Kimura. St. George keep it alive. Come all the way back now for Mount Druitt. Will play deeper still to Niski. Niski driving long once again. Easily picked off from Michio. Again looking for Kimura. No joy on that occasion. Now falling here for Jankin. Oh, Jankin, great skill. Beat the first defender. Trying to squeeze through another two. That was all a little bit messy there from both teams. As that one evades Majok, and now City trying to send it forward. That one will go all the way over the sideline in the end. 12 minutes gone here in round 22 action. The National Premier League New South Wales men's division. Still a 0-0 here if you're just joining us between Mount Druitt and St George City FA. So now Majock trying to squeeze through a number of defenders, all taken down just outside the box regardless. And McNulty applying a little bit of pressure there. High feet from Tep, missing on the first attempt. Eventually retrieves possession. Now under pressure from a number of St George players, but very strong. Here's Tep. Again, beats a few of them. Now looks to feed a pass here for Majock. Monahan Vaika under pressure. Shoulder to shoulder. Play on is the call from referee Ayad Naji. Now Kimura. Comes up trumps on this occasion. Still with Mount Druitt here. Trying to feed Majock once again. Some more pressure here on the St George goalmouth. Taken down from Majock, not a great delivery back. As a result, St George will come up with possession from the throne. Long once again here from the home side. Tep under pressure, however, here comes McNulty pushing through. Cleared away from Mount Druitt. Quick release and then knocking deep once again. Majock with a nice little flick on here. Arrives in the path of Morita. Then taken from behind. Play on is the call. McNulty looking for support. Finds it in the form of Curry. Now a chance to break away here for St George City. Agrelos marching forward. Michio wider still. Decent delivery but seen off from Mount Druitt. Curry picking up the scraps. Michio again, scything little run, trying to squeeze between a number of defenders. And now Mount Druitt taking the odds to it. A lovely little pick up here from Montero. However, dispossessed. Now wider still. I'll find an option on that right-hand edge. Then on goal and saved well there from Niski, getting down low. Better shape there from St George. Just asking a few questions. Cox eventually getting the shot away. Montero again. Just clearing his lines as Curry will now send it wide here for Michio, who's got oodles of space. Stops on the run though. All the way back to Grimaldi. And for Cox, who turns it back to his captain here in the form of Monahan Vaika. Cox again an option through the middle. Clean work from Cox. Now pressure being applied from Mount Druitt. Grimaldi needs to release and does so here. Finding Michio. Agrelos under pressure. And Belcati is pinged there. Grimaldi was wanting to get on with things quickly. Calling for the yellow there on Jenkin, but wasn't exactly crowding the space, simply just a little slow to turn around. Restarted here, Curry now. Agrelos and then back for Michio. Monahan Vaika finding a pass. Now Cox, first time release. And strong there from Majock in the challenge. Agrelos, lovely little dink. Now working through the middle. Good skill from Mitri. Michio, once more with the delivery. This time it looks a little too deep. I got a boot to it though, and then blocked as it was heading back towards goal. So corner to come. Great addition as well to the squad is Lewis Michio. Spent a fair bit of time over in England over the past 5 or so years, including earning promotion with Oxford City up into the National Leagues. So this one to be fed in now from City. Stacked numbers in the box here too. Nice delivery, looking for that long post. Back towards the middle, straight into the arms of Niski though. And no issues there for Mount Druitt. Now looking to unleash Majock. Great control under pressure here from Askew, who then doesn't find a particularly strong pass there for Kenny, who was under all sorts of pressure. Now Curry. For an option out on that right-hand side. Does find it. Threading the needle down the sideline. They'll take off once again here. City on a driving run back towards the middle. Good tackle in the end from Montero. Then great skill to beat the next man. Ball comes free. Cox will collect. Happy to turn that all the way back towards his defensive line. Now Michio. Quick turn. Agrelos threatening to feed. Well, Curry again. Great skill. All the way back to Monahan Vaika. Time on the ball here for City. Now Grimaldi navigating. Looking for an opening. Curry. Michio. Cox will once again collect the scraps. Has been doing so with real certainty about his work thus far. Back to Cox here through the middle. Now looking to feed a Grelos, who popped a lovely little pass back to the middle. It was on there for Mitri. And certainly that was the distance we saw him drill one home last week. The goal of the season. So approaching that halfway point here in this first half. Long throw in provided again here. I really have focused on that left-hand defensive edge of Mount Druitt. Some of those longer raids and just trying to utilise some speed on the edge. It's been a little bit more controlled on this left-hand side for St George. Contest in the middle once again. One out there from Cox, and finds a lovely release early on here for Michio, who then looks to switch it up. Searching for McNulty and then turned away with the head there from Sampow. Curry now through the middle. Switching out to this left-hand side, Michio tries to find a little pass back to the middle. Deflected off the work there of Jenkin, and then cleaned up from Niski. And they've looked composed on the ball, St George, but yet to get a shot away. I'll be hoping that changes soon enough. Now kept in the field of play here momentarily. The flag is, however, raised. And that has just crossed the sideline. Now a chance here for Mount Druitt, looking to feed Jenkin, who's still applying plenty of pressure here. Comes up trumps, will keep it alive. All shot is on target, cleared away from Kenny. That was a nervy moment there for City. And now Mitri using his body to great effect. Will look to get on with things quickly. He still wasn't quite on the mark though. McNulty delivering back here for Michio. Grimaldi. Now Monaghan, Vaika with a bit of room to work with. And Cox with a rushed chip over the top. Nothing really doing there for them. And the clearance coming in from Mount Druitt Town Rangers. Micho again with oodles of space on this left-hand side. He'll take the little opening for twisting and then finding a pass back for Curry. Cox first time release. Always a touch of class about his work. Now Micho again on this left-hand side. Finding Curry. Cox again finds a lovely pass. And no advantage there. Free kick is called. It's Yuto Morita. Who's the man that was pinged for that one. Curry. Quick release now. Another good chance to whip it in for Micho. This time keeps it along the deck. Release, and now Cox has a shot. It's just over the top. Lovely interchange of passing, though, from St. George City. That was the smoothest move we've seen so far from the home side, as now Tep finds a little pass for Pele. He'll try and thread the needle. Couldn't quite do so now. Agrelos takes it down. Very little room to work with. Does a great job in the end. Curry. And now Cox. Under pressure here from the efforts of Massarola. Still got the pass away. Now looking to feed deep, but that one's very, very deep in the end. Agrelos will be lucky to keep this in. Does a great job in the end. Now well taken down from McNulty. Micho back to the middle. Curry. McNulty once again. It's been starved of quality ball so far, McNulty. He's always been under pressure. Obviously, a large part of that is due to the work of the back line of defenders from Mount Druitt. But still, probably only the one clear chance thus far for the home side. 3 half chances for Mount Druitt. It's restarted here from Niski as Montero goes for a run here. Then threads the needle. A beautiful pass from Montero. Now Majok rushing through at full speed. Well turned away, though, from St. George, and they've done a great job to keep it in the field of play. Curry will now turn and finds a great opening here for Micho, who can carry. Up over halfway he goes. Now just slowing things. Curry switching it up. A lovely pass there. Directly on the money. Work through the middle once again here for Cox. Cox again crowding a number. They'll come back to the centre with Curry, who takes off and now looking for a shot. Oh, Curry! That was a bullet off the left boot. What a save, though, from Niski. Full stretched up in towards the top corner. And that took everyone by surprise. What an effort from Curry. Well, it can change in the blink of an eye, and Niski had to be ready for that one. So corner to come here. They'll play it short. Still a chance to whip it in. Numbers in the box looking for Micho. Turned away from Mount Druitt. Askew. Will feed it out towards that right-hand side. Well taken down from City. And feeding a lovely little pass there was Mitri, but the first touch left plenty to be desired. And there is an easy turnover of possession into the arms of Niski. Tep looking long now. Morita under all sorts of pressure there, was easily dealt with by Grimaldi. Nice pass here from Monaghan Vaika. Now back away from the sideline. Space out wide here for Micho, and they will find it. Once again, a chance to swing this one in. Micho will keep it down low for the meanwhile. Agrelos twisting, turning, looking for an opening. Curry once more. Finding a little chip over the top. Decent weight about it. Oh, and then Majok was cleaned up there from Cox, but play on is the call. Mitri. Sending it wider still. Cox under pressure. Quick release back here for Monahan Vaika. Grimaldi. Efficient release for Michio. Now Grelos, all chipping over the top. That was fancy, but Michio had already pulled up on the run. A little conversation there between the pair of them, perhaps suggesting that sometimes the simpler method is by far the more effective. Niski happy to chew up some extra seconds here as we approach the half an hour mark at Penshurst Park. Now Tep up there for Morita. Lovely first touch, and now Majok has a sight at goal. We'll send it wider still. Here's a chance now for Kimura, stepping back and then having the shot blocked from St George City. Good little passage here for Mount Druitt though. Still working forward. Here's Massarola. Eventually forced backwards. And McNulty cutting the middle will ensure that Mount Druitt have to look all the way back to Niski. Back here for Montero again. Up to Majok. Good first time release. Now rolling over it a number of times there is Kimura. Majok from out wide. Looking to feed in across, and then Pele arrives just in time, all cleared away because it was danger signs there with Morita winding up. Now a quick release, trying to get over the top of Tep, who controls it beautifully with the chest. Curry has come the closest, but Mount Druitt have still probably had more chances in this one compared to St George, despite their control of possession. Now Tep knocking it forward and then almost falling there for Morita. Belcati supplying a little bit of pressure now. Michio will look to release early because Agrelos has made a great run here. Picks him off. Rolling over it is Agrelos. Under all sorts of pressure though. Comes up with the slide, and now Mitri finding a lovely ball here for Michio. Back to the middle. Turned away. Throw in to come. There's an issue here for Majok. Medical staff called on to attend to that one. Of course, Mount Druitt coming into this one, just one win in recent times, 3 for the season for that matter. St George very much mixed performances over the past 5 weeks. 2 wins, 2 losses and a draw. Majok is now back to his feet. Might still be some running repairs here. He's looking like he's heading towards the sideline for now. No substitution warming up though. So I'll just tread with a little bit of caution here. The Rangers. Now Curry, doesn't come up with a great release there, and then well dealt with and dispatched from Mount Druitt. And Majok back up and running again. Jock bested in the air there as Pele sends it over the top. Once more looking for Morita. And Majok is dispossessed there. In some strong contact from Michio. 2 good challenges back to back. Now Massarola. Nice bit of skill. Takes off through the middle. Oh, nearly found a lovely pass there. It was Kimura who was making a beautiful run. Cox takes it down high on the chest and then tries to find a pass, but never got it cleanly. So Montero now for Massarola. Then Majock trying to squeeze through. Didn't quite get a clean touch on it though. Tep. And back here for Montero, who will knock it long and wide. All the way back to Niski in the end. Tep will open up the space on this right-hand side. As the clock ticks over to 33 minutes gone here at Penshurst Park. Niski. Montero now with a chance to carry. Chews off the meters. Not a great first touch there from Majock. And then just clipped the leg as he was running through on that occasion. Monahan Vaika. Again, they've got space on this left-hand side. Now Druitt have been quite happy to give Micho oodles of room throughout this one. Grimaldi back here for Monahan Vaika. Looking at the thread. Under pressure. Oh, come away with it though and continue marching forward. Oh, and then another strong challenge coming in. Flag is raised and that will be another free kick here. This time in certainly a good enough territory to set up a strong set piece here on the edge of the box. Touched here from St George City. Now on the march forward. Oh, decent effort just over the top. And again, it was an effort that really took them by surprise. Niski went flying, but that one was just over the top of the bar. Credit to Mount Druitt. They really haven't allowed any chances inside the box as of yet, so they've had to go for the extravagant St George City. Tep. Chipping long, looking for Morita. Turned away and now taken down from Agrelos. Good use of the body. Stave off the advances there of Rangers. Kuri now in a 2-on-1 situation. Loses out. Will still get the throw in though, but good pressure there from Massarola and Pele. Now Michio over the top. And Agrelos, body on the line there. And great skill in the end from Kimura. Now up for Majock. Jankin. Well, a little flick on was beautiful. Jankin was there again in support. Now Cox marching forward. This time is pinged. Play has broken down a touch here inside the last 5 minutes. Very stop-start. So it will be Sam Powell to feed this one in. Lined up on the edge of the box here. Mount Druitt Town Rangers. Tep is up and wide. That one not quite finding its mark as Majock sends it forward. Cleared again here from St George and then flicked on further still. McNulty now great skill and strength. Kuri with a spin, a twist, a turn. That was beautiful from Kuri. Now over the top from Micho looking for McNulty, just turned away from Pele. The attempted clearance then goes directly into the head of St George City and the ball nearly came free, but Niski comes up trumps. Now Belcati for Massarola. Finds a great pass over the top here. Pressure on Grimaldi. Oh, and then from behind. That one stings there for Grimaldi. And Morita, the man who's come in a little aggressively on that occasion. And good sportsmanship there from the pair. Morita and Grimaldi. Little slap at the hand and on they go. So Kenny will have the restart here. Less than 8 from half time, or at least additional time for injuries and stoppages. Kenny sends it up and then easily dispatched there from Tep. Quick throw in taken here from City. Mitri under all sorts of pressure. Somehow comes up with it here. Back to the middle. McNulty with a chance to finish. Had a heavy first touch. Cleared away from Mount Druitt. Now Jankin, a couple of poor touches, and that one goes over the sideline. There's an opportunity that's gone begging for Rangers. Michaud will get on with things quickly. Now Curry. Big, beautiful switch. Now they'll take off with a bit of speed here, St. George. Looking to squeeze it in. Good pressure, though, from Sampo. Now he heads upfield. Morita is there to arrive and meet it. A fine Massarola back through the middle. First touch is a smart one. Works away from the man coming back in support. Now Tep over the top. Well, threads the needle nicely, but good recovery on Monahan Vaika. Now an aerial battle. Now headlong, and there could be a real issue here. Contact wasn't great. Mitri has got up and he's very unhappy about things. There's a bit to sort out here for referee Ayad Naji. He's already reached for the card, so it looks like yellow is on the way here for, it looks like, potentially St. George. It's one of those awkward 50-50 challenges where neither side looked like they had approached it particularly well. And it is yellow here for Paolo Mitri. So another free kick in a dangerous position for Mount Druitt Town Rangers. So we tick over to 40 minutes here at Penshurst Park. Majok and Tep both up there. Two men with terrific leaping ability. Can certainly find the back of the net with the head. Sampow once again defeated in. Nice weight about things, but turned away from St. George. Now Jankin won't be able to keep that one back in. Well, that there is a surprising call. It was flicked away from St. George, but the referee in the centre here has seen it differently. And as a result, a throw in to come for City. Michio again will restart things here. Jankin with hands in the back. Not called from the man in the middle. All the way back here for Niski now. Montero. Twisting now, taking off. Trying to utilize his speed. Will thread the needle. Finds a pass. Now Kimura, and then Majok was trying to release. Now a chance for a counter-attack here for St. George, looking for McNulty. And another issue coming up here, this time yellow for Majok. Well, it's been very haphazard the last few minutes. So as we near that half-time break, good chance now for St George. They feed it deep. Looking for a chance here with McNulty, and then hands in the back are called. We started with quite a free-flowing contest, but it really has soured a touch since that point. A very stop-start affair the last 15 minutes. So Niski restarting things again here. Oh, Majok got above them and then missed the ball, came down heavily on the opposition. Now Pele with a scything run, all played out there from Misho. That could well produce a card. Might just be a caution on this occasion. Wasn't any particular malice about it, but it was a missed time challenge. Looks like Misho will now be called out here. And it will be yellow. So 3 yellows inside the past 5 minutes. Not too far out from half time. Either side will want to lose their heads here. As Sampao once more will look to feed it in. Now Druitt have lined up a good 7 attackers on the edge of that box. Sampao with a good delivery this time. Turned away though. Falls here for Massarola. Has a awkward control and then a high attempted shot. Cleared away from Kenny. Fall here eventually for Pele. Pele will drive it deep. And too deep in the end. Over the byline. Fourth official about to hold up the additional minutes. And we'll see. It will be 2 for injuries and stoppages. So can either side find a late goal here in this first half? Agrelos tipping it over and then Tep drilling that ball well and truly out of the complex here at St George. That one's been delivered to the highway nearby. Misho. Now for Curry. Grimaldi. Cox and then back for Grimaldi again. He'll go all the way back to Kenny. Now simply drilling long. Misho on the run but turned away from Pele. And then retrieving to collect it there was Yuta Kimura. Morita trying to keep it in desperately. St George come away with it. Now Belcati applying a bit of pressure here and wins out. Will get the throw, so roughly a minute remaining in this first half here. It's probably been a first half devoid of clear chances. Curry has come the closest as now Majok marches forward but is turned away. Montero over the top, applying a little bit of pressure. Falls for Cox. Flicking it on with the right boot. Again, a poor touch there from Majok. So they'll head out wide now. Michio with a chance to carry. Good little touch back towards the middle. Now takes off. Massarola, though, comes up with a great tackle. And that will do us for the first half. So an inconsistent first 45 minutes. Plenty of stoppages from that 20-point mark. And not a great deal of clear chances for either side. Kuri came the closest, but at the break we are all level. Plenty to sort out in the second 45. We'll take a quick break here and all the action continues very shortly from Penshurst Park. 0-0 between St George City FA and Mount Druitt Town Rangers. Welcome back here to Penshurst Park for the second half of round 22 action in the NPL New South Wales men's division. 0-0 at the break between St George City and Mount Druitt. Hasn't been a game with a great deal of chances so far. Koori came the closest with a wonderful swinging shot off the left foot through the middle of the field and took a terrific stretching save from Dylan Niski to deny him. But outside of that, there have been very few chances for either team. Will that change in the second 45? We're about to find out. Final checks here from referee Ayed Naji. And St George, will they once more produce a very rapid start to the second half? We are underway. Now here for Cox. A little bit of pressure on him from Kimura. Now Foti dispossessed. Here's an early opportunity for Yata Kimura to march forward, and now gets around the outside of that first defender. That's a Skew who was beaten. And then dragged off the contest there was Morita. Opens up an early opportunity here for Mount Druitt. Probably the best spot they've had so far for their ample amount of free kicks in this one. It has been a very stop-starting affair. Conference here between Sampao and Majok. Will be Majok who feeds it in. Lovely delivery. Turned away, though, from City. Now Majok following through the middle. Massarola will simply chip it forward, and it's an easy take for Kenny. And crowding the keeper there. It's Montero who has been called out. That was rather cynical, really. No room for Kenny to work with. He's not particularly impressed either, Jack Kenny. Still had a few words to say to the Portuguese man. It's Kenny ushering teammates forward as he drives this one deep and long. Montero up to meet it. Good header from him. Grimaldi turns in like kind, and once again Montero up above them. Good touch here from Majok, and now chance building for Morita. Again, Kenny simply drilling it long. Does have a big boot on him. Cleaned up there from Niski. Niski now with a slightly askew kick there that didn't quite come off the boot cleanly. And pushing through the middle, Mitri comes up with the tackle. Foti now on this right-hand side. Now look for a pass back to the middle. Nobody there, though, from City. Cox under pressure, tries to take it down. Belcati comes up with a good tackle on him. And then Monahan Vaika. Under all sorts of pressure there from Massarola, who has been very strong for Mount Druitt in this one. Throw taken here from Sampao. Once again looking for Morita. Askew finding a pass there once again for Kenny. Montero all over the top here of McNulty, and then coming in was Kimura. McNulty not having a bar of that. Swatted him away like a fly. Now a big switch taken early here from St George City. Now for Koori. Well, Koori again is pinged here by Belcati. Probably lucky to get away without the foul. Cox floating as an option deep. Now they'll send it wide here for Askew. Askew looking to take them on and whip this one in. Comes up with a cross, but it's far too deep. It'll actually hit the back fence on the full. Both teams really spoiling each other at the moment. Cancelling out every ray that we have seen to date. So Tep now with a bit of room to work with. Brings it forward and then drills a long ball looking for Majok. Got a touch to it. Jankin was on the run forward. Just clipped from behind. No foul call though from referee Naji. finally this throw is taken. Immediately turned away, and St George will come away with it. So another foray down to an attacking end that results in nothing. Almost seems like both teams are in hibernation at the moment, waiting for something to happen. They've got to take their chances when they are there. Instead, it's been quite sloppy at times. There's another example. That one simply cleared upfield with nobody surrounding that ball at all. Now Cox comes up with a clever little flick there, Negrelos. Nassarola clears it forward. Morita had a little look at it and then cleverly knocked back with the head into the arms of Kenny. Curry under pressure. Now Majok comes up with it. Kimura will take them on. Just can't quite keep it in the field of play though. Over the byline it goes once again. Now Kenny again. Drilling long. Montero there to meet it. Finds a good header off to Belcati. Michio receives it back once again. Now it finds the feet of Cox. Cox will open up the play here. Nice delivery for Monahan Vaika. Who then simply kicks in hope. Cox is then there to meet it. McNulty looking to get some clean ball. Has been starved of decent possession so far. And Tep simply clearing upfield. Flicked on from Mitri. Now Mitri under a little bit of pressure. Shoulder to shoulder. And they will win out here, Mount Druitt. Montero now carrying it forward. Finds a pass here for Morita. Now Kimura. And then pushing through the middle. Oh, tries to clear it away. It's still alive here momentarily for Mount Druitt. Now Kimura on the follow-up. Gets a shot, but it's blocked. That was very sloppy at the back there from St George City. Mitri now. Back for Monahan Vaika. They've seen off that raid. Curry will switch the emphasis. That's a lovely ball. Out for Michio. Now drills it long. Once again, looking for McNulty. Play on here for Mitri. Sends it wider still. Now Foti. Has a little dig at them all. Just cleared away. Good covering in the end from Tep. A great footwork there from Jesse Foti. Man still on the deck here as well for St George City. It looks like Agrelos. He's now back up once again. And we'll head straight to the corner flag to take this one. Is this the moment here for St George City? Desperate to get a shot on target. Only one so far. Grelos will play it short for McNulty. Now Grelos once again. Couldn't quite get the shot away himself. Now Druitt continuing to press forward. I'll chip it over the top here. McNulty looking to get a touch on it. Awkwardly cleared away. Never intended to go back to Niski, so that was fair game. Sampao. Twisting, turning. Eventually back for Niski here, who will once again knock it long into enemy territory. Askew will watch that one head over the sideline. Curry. Back to Askew, and then Belcati again providing good pressure. Now Cox opening up the play, has some room to work with. Michio on that left-hand side. Feeding it in nicely. Turned away though from Tep. Falls here for Curry. Curry wider still now for Askew. Bouncing off the right foot. Trying to get an opportunity with the left. Flicked up here. Play on is the call. Cox never gets a decent delivery. And it's cleared away. Quick throw taken here from St George City. Grimaldi. I'll push it out here for Curry. Monahan Vaika knocking long, looking for 40 once again here. Turned away from Sampau. Now Cox. Curry. Michio squeezing a pass back to the middle. Lovely flick. Now Cox has a chance. It's on target. It's turned away, though, from Niski. That was the best opportunity of the second half for either side so far. 10 minutes into the action. As now Morita takes off back towards the middle. Looking for a pass. Can't quite find it. Well dealt with from Monahan Vaika. And then cleared upfield. McNulty applying some pressure here on Tep. And Tep hit the deck. McNulty couldn't believe it. There was an audible scream from Mark. He was adamant. That should have been play on. And Tep falling to ground and then simply clutching at the ball with the hands. Knew the call was coming. Otherwise, he would have been in a world of problems. And now Niski will usher his team forward. Jock above the pack and gets ahead to it. Attempted flick on once again here. Belcati now driving forward. Beats two defenders. Can't beat the third, though. That's Grimaldi. Sampau in a contest, and now Fohi wins out and can use his speed. Massarola comes across and clears things up, though. Really hasn't had too much clean ball on this right-hand side, Foddy, but it might be an avenue they'll look to exploit more in this second half. Now Pele looking to squeeze a pass here for Morita. Morita under all sorts of pressure. Dispossessed. Now they march forward once again. Lovely release out wide. Here is McNulty now, just slowing things up on the edge of the box. Now takes off, and a good sliding tackle there from Tep to force it over the byline. Another corner coming up, though, for St George City. So corner fed in here from St George City. Looking for Grimaldi, flicked away. It'll sit up nicely here for Mount Druitt Town Rangers. They'll look to thread the needle. Lovely little flick on that occasion from William Rankin, who's come out there for the second half. Now Askew over the top. Starting to open up just a touch here this game. Picked up again here from McNulty. Twisting, turning, looking for an opening. Sends it back now for Cox. Cox feeding it once again. Mitri, McNulty from the edge of the box. Doesn't get a decent strike on it. In the end, it just trickles to the arms of Niski, who cleans it up. So another promising raid ends disappointingly here for the home side. Montero simply taking the meters on offer here. Then trying to link up with Kimura, couldn't do so. Curry. Cox. Feeds it out for Michio. And Tep strong in the challenge. Dispossesses a second now. Lovely little feed here from Majoko. Good sliding coverage there from Grimaldi. And eventually cleared away for a corner. Certainly been more control from St George City. It's more been opportunistic from Mount Druitt thus far. So we close in on the hour mark. Corner coming up here for Mount Druitt Town Rangers. Decent feed in or tipped away from Kenny. Well, Majock was looming at the far post, and now Massarola gets a hurried kick away. Flag is up though, and offside is called, and Tep just going on with things a little bit there. Yeah, and a genuine disagreement. He did hang a leg out. Now Kenny wants a confrontation as well. And he was already irked in that first half off some extra attention he received. There certainly was a raised foot there from Tep as he was coming through. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a card here for Tep. Jack Kenny called out here along with Belcaddy. So situation diffused from referee Ayad Naji. No card shown. Simply getting the gents back into line. So we tick over on the hour mark now. Still no score here at Penshurst Park. Kenny's still having a long chat here with referee Ayad Naji. So Kenny will now drive it long, looking for Massarola. Curry finding Cox. Lovely switch out here for Askew. Good first touch from him. Once more feeding it in, and once again it's well wide of the mark. In fact, that'll go across the sideline rather than the byline. It's an interesting situation here for St George City. They've showed great composure in the build-up to their plays, but the execution has been severely lacking once they're getting towards that 18-yard box. Now Druitt's approach has been very much direct, knocking it long, looking for the counter-attack. St George now with Foddy, a little step over and opens up a little bit of space here. Chance to whip it in once more. Fancy footwork coming out, but the following touch wasn't great. And then swept away by Sampow, corner to come. This time Kuru will look to feed it in. Decent delivery from Kuru, just over the top of that man coming through. Cleared away from Mount Druitt. I'll knock it deep this time. Good ball out here for Kuri. Up against Kimura. Kuri threatening to take off and then trying to squeeze a cross in the middle. This time finds it. Lovely ball from Kuri. Oh, the flick over the top. It would have been superb, but it just goes wide of the mark. It was Monahan Vaika, the captain, who'd pushed all the way up from the back and nearly came up with a speculator. Well, that would have been in the end-of-season highlight reels had it gone in. Alas, it remains 0-0. So Niski now heaving it downfield. Quick release out for Foddy once again, who's got a lot more ball in this second half. Oh, little push in the back there from Sampow. And it will be picked up by the referee. Good period here for St George City. Plenty of pressure in the last 2 or 3 minutes. They need to make it count, though. They must capitalise on these opportunities. Again, stacking numbers into the box. Curry delivers once more, finds the spot, and now they find the head. It was a beautiful ball whipped in from Curry, and Mark McNulty is on the spot, turns it in with the head. The former Scottish international, bringing a bit of class straight from the rolling mountains of Scotland and rolling into the lead here at Penshurst Park. 1-0. His 9th of the season now, Mark McNulty in appearance 21. It's been a decorated career for him. And he gets St George City in front here. Now Cox coming through. And Majock, like a brick wall, pushes through. Cox, of course, part of the Futsal Roos setup. So not just talented on the 11-a-side situation, also very much so in that indoor setting. Monahan Vaika. Curry over the top. Looking for a Grelos on that occasion, couldn't quite find him. Now Cox. Lovely touch provided. Trying to squeeze down a narrow passage along the sideline, but turned away. Jock missing with the flick on there. Cleared up from St George City, but here comes the pressure now for Mount Druitt. Can they find an equaliser? Long throw into the box. Looking for Majock. Still a chance here. Cleared away from Michio. Oh, now a decent effort coming through there from Sampow, but just couldn't quite get it on target. Came spewing off the outside of the boot and well wide of the mark. Another issue here for St George City. Not sure who that might be at the moment. The spot is obscured. Really yet to see Mitri stamp his authority on proceedings as of yet. It's more been Cox who's dominated the tempo of proceedings out in the middle. Former Blacktown junior. As the season's gone on, he's solidified himself more and more in this team, Dominic Cox. 16th appearance for the season, 12th start. As now Majock will head to the sideline, so change of tactics here from Mount Druitt Town Rangers. Majock exiting the action. And they've already put William Rankin onto the field here to start this second half. And now they'll call upon Caleb Jackson-Brown. And Negrelos also off the field here for St George, along with Monahan Vaika. So the captaincy will shift now to Mark McNulty. Both teams making changes here as we approach the final 20 minutes of this one. It's Noah Ovens in for Monaghan Vaika. Oh, and then Foddy trying to get above them. Just clipped the back there of Massarola. McNulty, a little bit of gamesmanship, simply walking through the path of the potential pass. Another one into the action here, Brody Clarkson. On at the back here now for St George City. Might be Michio who's made way there, it looks like. So Montero now getting us back underway. We'll feed it forward. Turned away here from Ovens. Curry coming through, and here's another challenge that's going to cause an issue here for referee Ayad Naji. We really just haven't had much in the way of free-flowing football this evening. It's been a very frustrating match at times. Not just for both teams, but I'm sure for some of the viewers at home too. Very few clear chances. And a real stop-starting affair. Now Kenny will drive it out towards this right-hand side, flicked in. Now on the chase here is Morita. Grimaldi cleverly just knocks it back with the head. And Kenny will eventually clean up here. Picks it up just inside the byline. And again, that booming clearing kick. All the way up towards the 18-yard box. Curry takes it down. What a great release once again. Now Druitt working it forward, but dispossessed from the throw-in. Sampow looking for the challenge. Now takes it down. Little flick on with the shoulder. Wasn't quite on the spot. And they'll call that one as a foul as well. Askew taken to ground. And Curry once again will potentially have the opportunity to feed this one in. Instead, he'll leave it here for Askew, who takes it quickly out to that left-hand side now for Grimaldi. Michio turning and then trying to find a supporting runner, but all he found was the sideline. So he has stayed out there. Grelis, of course, is off. There's Michio again. Cox looking to come up with possession, but they'll keep working forward here through Jackson Brown now. Now Druitt on the attack. Kimura trying to squeeze through, beats a couple of defenders. Still going here, Kimura. And Askew looking to knock it upfield. McNulty collecting. Chip it all the way back here for Ovens, who then simply knocks it high. And again, it's a real mess of possession from St George City. Throw in taken here from Mount Druitt. Montero punching it forward, looking for William Rankin. Now a quick release upfield yet again here. Great control in the end. Good pressure though from Mount Druitt. Cleanup required as a result here from Grimaldi. And Grimaldi will knock it upfield. Neither team really looking to play it on the deck at the moment. That has been contributing to the scrappiness of the contest. Now St George will come up with possession here. Bit of conjecture from the Mount Druitt bench. They went up as one, believing it was their ball. As we approach the final 15 minutes here, outside of the goal to McNulty, there's really been little to get off the seat about. Once again, this will be called in favour of St George City. So Mount Druitt just spoiling things at the moment. Curry trying to come away with it. Tep under pressure will then push a pass that's a little bit too deep. Cox from range doesn't get it cleanly. Easily swept up there from Niski. Will drive it forward really into no man's land. Not a great release from St George City. That was nearly punished by Kimura and Jackson Brown. And Ovens taking a little bit too long to try and clear his lines there, along with Kikeris. And that'll eventually be called as a goal kick. And well, it's another passage that we could probably wipe away from the memory banks. Mount Druitt looking to make a few more changes here as well. Kenny restarting things, and up it goes. Curry looking to claim it. Eventually falls here for Cox. Nice little flick on, out for Askew. Cox under all sorts of pressure with that pass from Askew, and now Foddy is quick, but there's no way he's going to get to that one in time. Sampau. Askew popping a pass, and then Caleb Jackson Brown shifting it forward. No real pressure on Grimaldi. Simply sweeps it upfield. Tep up to meet it. Foddy over the top. Oh, McNulty. There was a half opportunity there for St George City. If the pass was perhaps half a metre shorter, then McNulty would have had a real good look at it. Now Montero brings it forward. Cox cutting it off. Takes it down. Good control from Cox, and then beats a couple of defenders. Now looks to squeeze a pass here for McNulty just over the sideline. And Cox really has been the linchpin here for St George City. Probably the only player on either team really looking to try and just play it on the deck and play those high percentage passes. There's been a lot of kicking and hoping, especially from Mount Druitt. Now Sampau firing it deep. Curry will hit the deck, banging for a penalty. Now Foddy tries to squeeze it. Drives here for Curry, who then can't link up with Foddy. And some more changes about to be made here for Mount Druitt. Two players to come on. And it looks like one of those to make way will be Belcati, who heads to the far side of the ground, along with Yuto Morita. So they've got two fresh faces up front now in the form of Jackson Brown. Looks like that might be Awak, who's come on as well. And this indeed Awak, is now Jackson Brown tries to fling it forward. Tep, watching that bouncing ball, then knocks it upfield, looking for a Walker. Now here's an opportunity, although looking to just shift it through, but the shot surely had to be the option there from Stanic Floody, who's just come on. It was just outside the 18-yard box. It fell nicely for him. Instead went for the little chip over the top, but wasn't really any room for it. So approaching the final 10 minutes here, and Druitt really haven't looked like scoring at all in this second half. There's a few opportunities for them in that first 45. As Kenny once again will drive it long. Flicked on, Kimura there looking for a touch on it. Massarola applying pressure here on Curry, as is Jackson Brown. Wider still they go, and now McNulty trying to come up trumps. Oh, and then barreling into a man who was simply trying to get a little bit of control about proceedings there in the form of Clarkson, who was demolished in the attempted challenge. Brings up another foul in decent field position here for St. George City. Once again, numbers in the box. Nice delivery, flicked on. Got the slightest glance to it, but easily picked off by Niski, who now looks to knock it deep here. A walk on the chase. Kenny will simply reel it in one-handed. Toying with a walk there. Lovely release there from Kenny. And back to the middle for Clarkson, who again is under all sorts of pressure. Strong challenges from both teams here. St. George will come away with it. Now Druitt desperate to come away with possession. Falls here now for Cox, and Cox will send it wide early on. Fotty again trying to use his speed, but the pass is far too big. Quick restart here, and now Montero can carry if he wishes. Massarola threads the needle. Lovely pass there from Massarola. Now St. George trying to keep it in the field of play. And they've done that and more. They'll come away with the foul and a chance to clear their lines. Well, interesting here from Nagy. It looks like he's actually now called this in favour of Mount Druitt. They might play the throw in first. The initial signal looked like he was suggesting that would have been a foul against Mount Druitt. Instead, they will have possession here. So the sideline flag was raised first from the sideline official. And that's the way G will rule it here. So throwing to come for Mount Druitt. Looking for Awak. Falls here for Sampow. Rankin over the top. Flag is raised, and there is the offside. The time ticking down here for Mount Druitt, and they really haven't shown much urgency at all in these last few minutes. Just over 6 on the clock before we have injuries and stoppages. There might be a couple of minutes of that. There's another change is made here for St. George City with Matthew Wabi into the action in jersey 2. Now chipped over the top, and they'll try and use the speed here of Sampow, but Wabi is onto it. Through the middle they go. Nice delivery on this occasion from Stanic Floody. Again, there's a loose pass. The passing percentage wouldn't be particularly high from either side, it must be said. That looked to be ball, but they'll call it against Mount Druitt, and it's a yellow. Well, to the naked eye, it certainly looked like there was at least a little toe to the ball itself. Referee is in a better spot than I am, though, so we'll back his judgment there. And it does open up another great opportunity here for St. George. One more would do it. They could put the nail in the coffin. McNulty has the only goal so far. He's on the edge of the box at the moment. Once again, drilled four, but that one is far above the crossbar. And no pressure there for Niski whatsoever. And now there does seem to be a little bit more urgency about Mount Druitt's play. They've had a look at the clock. Tep will simply drive it forward yet again. I have to wonder if Mount Druitt look to change the tactics a touch here. It's just been consistently knocking the ball long instead of playing it to feet. Hasn't produced a result as of yet. And for St George, it's simply a case of an easy clearance of their lines. Another long throw here from Mount Druitt. Looking for a walk. Controlled here from Pele. Back out to that right-hand side. Get a quick throw in once again. Rocco Pele will take it. Tep pushing forward. Now looking for the head of Tep there. Once more turned away from St George City. All the way back here to Niski it arrives. Sampao an option on this left-hand side. Niski will boot it long once again. Now taken down here from Foti. Lovely little pass here for McNulty. Good skill from McNulty. Trying to get around the work of Jackson Brown. Bounces off him. Stays in the field of play. And then pressure coming there from Stefan Stanic-Floody. Gets the last touch and over the sideline it goes. So another throw in to come with just over 2 minutes remaining of regulation time. Foti now throwing. Can't quite link up with a supporting player though. Eventually that one is turned back towards the middle. Off the run there of Thomas Lopez, and throw-in is called. Question marks about the hands in the back there from Wabi. Play on is the call. And now Skuriaga trying to come away with it, but he's dispossessed. Mount Druitt now with room to move. That's a better pass. This time finds the feet of Lopez. Over the top they go, looking for Sampao. Grimaldi there to just shepherd it across the sideline. In fact, it'll be Ovens in the end. So 90 seconds of regular time remaining. Yet to see what will be added. Fourth official hasn't raised the board as of yet. One pass taken again. And that one is once more turned away there from Sampao. Once again, Askew throwing long. Cleared up field now. A walk on the chase. When pushing through, he's left it there for Rankin, and then a clearing kick which was played at the ball. Now Mount Druitt are baying for a penalty, but it was never going to be called as such. The leg was flung out to clear the lines there in the box, and Rankin simply ran directly over it. They'd be well advised to get on with things here, Mount Druitt. Now the throw finally arrives. Numbers in the middle again. They'll get the header on target, but easily dealt with there for Kenny. Just no real pressure being built up here from the visitors. As Kenny once more knocks it long. There's the end of regulation time. A walk using his body. Now a chance to feed Jackson Brown, who's on the charge. Cleared away though. Michio will then look to further clean up the scraps. Sends it upfield. Space out here for Fotty. They eventually find him. He'll scoop it up now. Approaching that 18-yard box. Feeds it nicely. McNulty is offside. The flag's up. Would have been millimetres in it. They were very quick with the call there. McNulty just in front of the last line. Dylan Niski once again looking to get on with things quickly here. They've thrown just about everybody forward here now, Mount Druitt. Tep included. Sam Powell. We'll send it out wide here for Lopez. Not a great first touch. Bounces up. Tries to squeeze on the inside of Askew. Also there was Wabi. Sampo once again will try to feed this one in. Long throw. Falls here for Massarola. Simply chipping over the top. A walk was looking to charge forward. Kenny will dive on it. And they are closer to securing another 3 competition points here, St George City. Final moments of this one. Kenny, this time bombing high. Nobody wanted a bar of that from either team. Massarola applying a little bit of pressure. Now here's a chance again for McNulty. Beats a couple of them. Again, Mount Druitt pumping it long. Tep now, flicks it on. Good touch. A walk here. Will get a fortuitous bounce. Now a chance for the shot. Still some space out wide for Lopez. Steps away from them. Has the strike. Oh, it was on target. Steered away with the head. And then Kenny fists it away. Falls here again for Lopez. Looking to link up out wide. Finally, they've come to life here, Mount Druitt. Now Rankin turns it back to the middle. Lopez has the shot! Would you believe it? The final moments of what has been a dour contest. But Mount Druitt find the back of the net and we are locked up at 1 apiece. What a strike from Lopez. That's come out of nowhere. This game was on life support for Mount Druitt. Now there's a pulse. Brilliant strike from Lopez. Somehow it looks like they'll conjure up a point. Well, the locals are stunned. They can't believe what's transpired. Mount Druitt haven't looked like scoring this second half. Goodness me. Deep into injury time as well. We've had 3.5 minutes of it. And now St George, who are simply going through the motions in the final stages here, they'll have to try and conjure up a miracle to gain back 2 competition points that now look like they've been stolen from them. Cox through the middle. Mount Druitt, on the other hand, are full of energy all of a sudden. They'll simply knock it up ahead once again. Ovens very casual with it, despite the attention of a walk. Michio now marching forward. Again, Massarola has a chance to carry. We'll find Lopez out on this left-hand edge. Good touch under pressure. 2 of them there up against him. That one goes over the sideline, and they'll call it here for Mount Druitt. Well, St George City are capitulating. There can't be much more time remaining. Flicked on as now a walk. Tries to find a passage. Tep completely misjudges that one. Now McNulty pops a pass over the top. Here comes Skuriaga. Off the right foot a couple of times. Now Cox trying to inject a little bit of speed into proceedings. Good little rollover. Can he get around the outside? Good control from Cox. Feeds it beautifully. It was there for them. Inches away. Fotty was just about to find a little pop there. and it will go over the byline in the end. It doesn't get much closer than that. Well, where has this been for 90 minutes? Cox up above them. Skuriaga once again, this time dispossessed. Jackson Brown. Michio with a strong shoulder-to-shoulder contest. Tips it over the top. Rankin once again, flinging it long, looking for Stanic Floody. Awak once more trying to use his speed and his power. Marches forward, that one will go over the byline. Getting very close to the last kick of the match. Another check of the watch here from referee Ayad Naji. Drilled long again. We'll now call that one. Again, there's oodles of space out here on this left-hand side for Lopez. If Niski can play direct, could well be another chance here for Mount Druitt. Cox clearing his lines. Taken down, good control. Rankin coming in. That was a foul every day of the week. Kikeris, who was taken to ground there. All of a sudden, it's a very dejected St. George City. Stunned by that late strike there from Lopez. They've thrown just about everybody forward. Kenny trying to put it right on the spot. Grimaldi was there. There's the final whistle. And somehow Mount Druitt salvage a point from the brink of despair. It was there for St. George City, but they just couldn't see it out in the final stages. It came very late in the piece. They struggled to build pressure all match, Mount Druitt, but they will take that point every day of the week. And for the home side, it will feel like 2 points that was stolen from them. A victory that got away. They have somehow snatched defeat from the jaws of triumph. Full time here at Penshurst Park. It ends in a draw. St. George City 1, Mount Druitt 1 to round out round 22 of the NPL New South Wales Men's Premier League.